Welcome back to A Slice of Us, and today we're trying something new or different on our channel because this past weekend we went
to Lollapalooza, which is it's a music festival that is held every year here in Chicago.
So because it's a music festival and like a lot of the music would get copyrighted on YouTube, we're trying a different kind of format where we recorded a lot of clips and B-roll, but we're gonna like narrate over it now in the present after the festival's already done.
Yeah.
So I guess let's get into day one.
Hi!
It's been a minute, but today we've got a very special video vlog because we are going to our first ever music festival together.
Yeah! So the reason why we're going is one, I wanted to go to music festival, but two, this is actually his anniversary gift to me.
Yes.
So we're going to 4-day, we got the 4-day pass. 4-day pass. Come along with us to Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky that Lollapalooza was actually super close to our apartment. I would say it was about, what would you think?
Like a 15-minute walk.
Yeah, so we were able to cut a lot of time and energy for me of like going through crowds because I heard the trains were pretty packed and it was just kind of crazy overall to get to Lolla. So yeah, they had a really cool entrance. I know there were like 3 entrances and we had general admission, so we went through just the main one.
Our number one priority as soon as we got in was to fill up our Camelback, which is this little backpack you see. You can fill up with water because hydration is very important, especially in a hot summer day.
Oh, and also they had a map right in the middle of the festival, which they said the phone signal was pretty bad, which for me, I always had phone signal. If you didn't know what was next, you just go to the map and it's right there. Very convenient.
There's also a lot of food stalls, which you can see here. Local food or restaurants from Chicago actually come to Lolla.
And we got a pretzel, which honestly, it was okay. I remember the cheese was kind of plasticky.
Yeah, we had just gotten there, so we wanted something lighter.
And we were hungry.
So pretzel, you can never go wrong with.
It was a decent, it wasn't horrible. It was, it is what it is. Another MVP of the entire festival is my little fan. My little fan, it was so hot, you guys. Like that weekend, it was very humid as well. So my fan came clutch. And the first person we wanted to see was Chapo Rowan. And honestly, get used to this shot. We come back here a lot. This is known as the Hill, or the people call it the Hill.
I don't know if it's known as that, but
oh, well, basically you go there if you want a more like chill out mood and like not so squished with people.
This is called the 30+ Hill.
That is true.
Even though not everyone there was.
Yep. And there she is, the Queen, Chapel Rowan. I was so excited. I've heard about her for at least like a year or two now, but I recently really got into her this year.
Yeah, I learned the hot to go dance beforehand. I had to.
But overall, it was a cool experience. A lot of people. She was not a headliner, but the crowd she got.
She should have been a headliner, honestly.
Yeah, and that kind of goes into who we saw next.
Because right after Chapel Roan was Kesha. And this was kind of a problem because she was also in a stage directly across, like in the same field, basically. So both crowds of Chapel and Kesha were in the same vicinity.
Yeah, so it was packed, as you can see. And honestly, it was not fun. All we did was heard TikTok and then we left, right?
We heard TikTok and we were done. Shout out Kesha, though, for putting what you'll see on screen, maybe.
So after we escaped Kesha's crazy crowd, we got some food before we head off to our next performer. And we saw Lizzie Alpine, I think that's how you say her name. Another artist I discovered this year. Unfortunately, we only saw 2 of her songs though.
I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea who she was, and
that was it. That's it.
Way later in the day, it was hot girl time because Megan Thee Stallion was the headliner for the first day.
Yep. She was amazing. Her presence on stage was great. And honestly, I only knew a few of her songs, but I would say she was one of my favorites that we saw.
I was just a little disappointed because I wanted to hear Mamushi, you know, the TikTok banger, Watashi wa Star. And I guess she was doing mainly her older songs or from her previous tour, But apparently she did perform it at the very end of the night.
Which we missed.
Because of lightning.
Yeah, so the lightning and rain did come. And even though they didn't cancel or cut the show off, I was not okay. I was a little bit scared. So I was like, let us go before we get struck by lightning. You know that's not how that works, but...
But look, this building kept us in it.
It's day 2.
We're live.
We made it.
But at what cost?
It started raining, so we actually left a little bit early, but we didn't get wet. When we first got there, I was surprised by like how empty it was, but then literally like a couple hours later, it was so full after we left the first stage, where you couldn't even walk like through the food aisles.
Yeah, it got pretty packed, and like I was reading, apparently this year is the first time Thursday got sold out.
Oh wow.
Which is weird, I guess, is unusual because Thursday's the first day. People don't really do first day. My theory is because they had Chapel Rowan, Kesha, and Megan, and
all on the same stage.
Hosier all on the same day, actually.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what made people do it. But yeah, we're leaving a little later than usual just because we're old. And,
No.
and I napped.
Look, here's the thing. The only 2 shows worth it today are Galantis and Zed, and they don't start until 5. So it's okay that we're a little late.
I'm just tired. I'm honest. So I can't wait though. It's gonna be fun.
Day 2 was surprisingly a lot less crowded, even though it was Friday and like, you know, the weekend was here. For some reason, Thursday was like one of the most packed days of the whole weekend.
I agree.
I mean, here you can actually see there's still a lot of people, but trust me, it was way more crowded the previous day.
And we got some food right away. We got some yummy tacos.
Oh, they were so good, actually.
Yeah, no, they definitely hit. And I remember I was a bit worried about having tacos in Chicago, but I was not disappointed.
So it wasn't just restaurants that had stalls, there was also dessert places, and I got myself some real banana frozen pudding, which I'm still not convinced is different from ice cream.
And I got a snow cone, which people were saying definitely would help you cool off, and it did. It did not disappoint. It was so cold, and you can see I struggled to eat it, but it was delicious, and it definitely cooled me down. It was like $10 too, which I would say is decent.
So our first show for day 2 was Galantis, which is a DJ I was sort of familiar with. Like I definitely know at least 2 or 3 of his songs, and the show didn't disappoint. It was a little early still in the day, but I really liked the effects that he had on screen. I was not expecting so much cats.
Oh my god, I know. But honestly, that was like the vibe when he was really popular.
Yeah,
right?
that's his album art too.
Yeah, so it was great. So yeah, I would say this day was like our EDM day just because we were at the stage the whole time. But yeah, I really had a good time listening to Galantis, and a super like surprise I had no idea was he had a guest, which was actually Dylan Francis. Were you shocked like when you saw him?
Yeah.
You were like, what?
I was a huge Dylan Francis fan, like even back to a couple years ago. So it was cool to see him in person. But the main event, which came right after Galantis, was Zed. And we're actually both huge Zed fans. That's kind of like part of our love story even sort of relates to his music.
Dude.
So this felt like years.
I'm like tearing up looking at this again, just cause like honestly, this was my favorite artist in the entire weekend there. It was so cool. I know all his songs, almost all his songs. I feel like that adds to the experience. The energy was cool. The crowd was cool. There was a lot of people, but it didn't feel as tight as Kesha.
This is probably the closest we got to the stage too, right?
We
Was during this
did,
show.
yeah. I know on phone it seems like we're far, but I would say we're like in the middle.
Yeah.
So while we were there, during the show, there was a girl behind us actually mentioned she felt like she was in Vegas. So she felt like it was like his Vegas show, but better.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had never seen a drone show like that in person before. It did not disappoint. Like Zed went above and beyond with that ending. Absolute banger. And with the best song too, the song that we both love.
I will stand by this. Drones are better than fireworks.
It's day 3. Today's a little different because apparently Skrillex is doing a surprise show at noon. So we're gonna try to catch that. 'Cause I'm a huge Skrillex fan.
Yep. I was like, oh, we're gonna rest until night. 'Cause originally our plan was to see him at night.
Yeah.
But literally last second yesterday, there was like a rumor that he was gonna do another show, which is smart because people are excited to see him. But it's at noon, so when a little bit after the gates open. So we're heading there now. We're gonna go see Skrillex, and then we're gonna come back.
Yep, we're gonna come back and rest up because tonight is crazy. They have Yasobi, Future Metro Boomin, and Skrillex all performing at the same time or around the same time. Yeah. So I wanted to try to see also Yasobi. So that's why we're going to the early Skrillex show.
I have my knee on, my knee thing on today.
Nice.
Because my knees have been hurting, but...
Is this one of the toughest thing about going to a festival at 30?
I mean, I have a bad knee in general, so...
So it's not a 30-year-old exclusive thing.
Well, no,
For me, my lower back and like my hip were seizing up a little bit after all the jumping at Zed yesterday, but I feel pretty good. It's kind of like the gym. Like you wake up sore, but you can just keep going the next day.
We made it, and it's empty.
Yeah.
It's so empty.
Really empty. I guess it is 11 a.m. and people are probably still recovering from yesterday. But it's nice. You can actually breathe a little bit.
Eriel went to immediately get me a fruit mango watermelon with like tahini because I did not have breakfast. But yeah, it was good. It was definitely a perfect way to start the day.
It's 15 minutes till Skrillex's noon show, and it's pretty empty out here. Like, I'm surprised. It was a last minute addition to the schedule, so maybe a lot of people don't know, but I'm hyped. As you can see, they changed the stage name to Sunny's. It's gonna be crazy.
One of the few artists I claim I'm an OG fan of is Skrillex, so I just had to go as close as possible, while Keren actually stayed in the back because it was pretty freaking hot. And yeah, I got pretty close up there. Got to see the homie spinning.
Yeah, it was freestyle, right? That's what he explained it?
Yeah, at the end of the show, I didn't know, but he was doing it all live, like the mix itself. He was DJing it freestyle.
And yeah, I was in the back. I was tired. At this point, it was definitely catching up to me. I had a few energy drinks and it was not helping. So I was just chilling in the back with the crowd, just vibing. So since we were gonna go back and rest at the house before the next artist, we decided to pick up some merch. And they had a lot of like little mini merch stands, but they also had a big merch tent. So that's where we went. It was air conditioned. It was cool. They had everything. And yeah, it was pretty nice.
We got ourselves a couple shirts and the poster, not the signed version because it was really expensive.
Yeah, and they were also sold out. After we rested a couple of hours, we came back. We were ready to explore the rest of day 3. Since we had the pleasure of seeing Skrillex earlier, we decided to check out Yasobi.
I'm not really sure how I would describe their music, like the genre, but they do a lot of songs for anime intros. Like they did Beastars, they did the idol anime Oshinoko, I think it's called, and most importantly, they made a song for Pokemon called Bidi Bidi, which was obviously what I was most excited for. Like I basically was crying when that came on.
Yeah, I would say we were lucky because since there were other artists, bigger artists happening, it was actually a more chill, like relaxing experience compared to like the bigger artists.
I was gonna say, I'm glad we didn't go to Future Metro Boomin because apparently they were like 30 minutes late, which
they
means
were 40 minutes late.
Yeah, their set got cut short.
Pissed.
I can only imagine, like, if you're waiting there in the front for hours, like the whole day basically, and the artist doesn't even show up.
And we almost went there. I remember there was one point that he was like, you know what? Let's go to Metro instead of Yasobi. Just because it's Metro and Future and like, you know, he's a fan of that. And I remember I was like, no, let's stick to the plan.
Yeah.
It was Yasobi.
And I'm glad we did.
Final day. How you holding up so far?
I am extremely tired. I waited the most I could wait to leave the house because I'm tired.
I'm also tired. I can't lie. But final day, Blink 182. I feel like once they get on stage, my energy will be refueled.
That's at night though. We have a few hours before that.
That's true. We have a while to go.
Yeah. In all 4 days, this one has been pissed. Cheese, it's gonna be okay. All right? You have your brother, you have your fountain, you have your toys. No, he's not happy.
So final day, and I would call this our alternative day unintentionally, because we had water parks, we had Blink 182, and that was the plan, but you'll see we eventually saw more alternative artists. But yeah, we are back on the hill, our trusty favorite spot. Our favorite spot. Honestly, the hill was clutch. So yeah, so we saw water parks, and college Keren was super happy because I was a big fan when I was a freshman in college. So I feel like this checked off like a list on my bucket list I didn't know I had. And I remember we were saying like how hot he was because of the long sleeve.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like physically.
So far, so hot.
It is very hot.
It's the hottest day of the 4 days that we've been here, right? But we're powering through. We're about to go get some sushi because next show's not for a while.
So yeah, sushi definitely hit the spot. We were just so hot that literally I just needed something cold.
And this was outside of the festival, like a couple of blocks away, because you can go in and out like 2 times, I think.
So after that, we originally were gonna go to the EDM stage, but I was tired, so we went back to the hill, and we saw Pierce the Veil, which
It was a surprise banger, actually.
Yeah.
I loved their energy and like how they would interact with the crowd. And at some point, I went to go get some food while Keren stayed on the hill. I got some mac and cheese with bacon bits and a Chicago Polish sausage. They were both really delicious.
The grand finale, what I've been waiting for the entire festival, is Blink 182.
What we've been waiting for, because you turned me into a Blink fan, honestly.
That is true. Blink 182 is one of my favorite rock bands, or I guess punk rock, if you want to be more specific, and they did not disappoint. It was amazing. I wish I wasn't so tired, because I definitely would have wanted to be more closer, be more up there and start jumping and dancing, but I still enjoyed my time though. It was still fun.
Yeah, every once in a while when the big songs would come on, even the people on the hill would stand up to dance and sing along, so we still got a little bit of that crowd energy.
So yeah, that was Lollapalooza, and I miss it.
Same.
That is the conclusion of it.
It's so weird because now we're a weekend later, and like it was so tiring in the moment, but I would do it again this weekend.
Yeah, I was kind of like, right when it finished, I was like, okay, I got my festival fix, one and done. But now that's been a few days, I'm kind of like, dang.
Like I want to go back.
Yeah, when's the next one? So I definitely enjoyed it. I'm happy that I'm going now and not more later. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's slightly different for what we do usually,
but we're trying stuff out here. So let us know if you have any suggestions for other videos or festivals you want us to go to next. And we'll catch you in the next one.